Green room. Action.
Green room
The
action.
green room. Hello.
I swear to my on my soul that the
Ooh.
hotel rooms are just the driest air on the face of the planet. I feel like I've been using chapstick nonstop. Like,
Tucker just gave you a nod for what it's worth. So can I
is
tell
there
you
something
something?
I'm missing here? Do you guys know something I don't
Can
like?
I tell you something that I don't know?
Yeah,
When it's ever dry. Like I get that I could stop and think like, oh, the air is dry. Never once thought of that. And this like my skin is horrible with like I like you've seen my hands before. Like they will actually bleed because they are so dry.
I've not seen
Like,
that, but I will keep
oh,
an
you
eye out
haven't?
for it.
Oh
Yeah,
my god. Yeah, like no,
no,
like right here, like I'll actually just like it'll start bleeding because it is so dry. I don't put lotion on it, and
wow.
it's my own thing, like my own issue.
I guess I
But
shouldn't have been surprised you don't do eye patches
yeah,
then,
I just
considering you don't
exactly
even moisturize. Yeah.
no, not at all. I don't. So I don't like. I get what you're saying, and I believe you. And if I really stop and think about it, you know, like yeah, sure, I guess it's a little dry, but like I just don't. This is something I don't think about. Like you know, I would never walk in a room and like, wow, the air's dry in here. You know.
So I never think about it unless I'm in a hotel. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I stay in more hotels than you do for longer
Yes,
stretches
without a
as
doubt.
well. So like
It
maybe
seems like
that's why. But
you've had a. We should get to the Bobby. It seems like you've had a time this time with the. It has not been a great hotel experience so far.
no, the hotel's not been great. So also the
Yeah.
lobby, we all arrived, like all the media on Sunday. We'll get going. We all arrived in the media on Sunday, and the lobby was completely under construction, and they've been working on it 24/7, and now it's done just in time for like all the important media to arrive. So
I just realized I left my water bottle out there, which is devastating.
that is devastating,
You want to
especially because
share mine?
I
You
have
can.
that would be cute.
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah.
If I absolutely need it during the pod, Tucker's gonna run and get it for me. We'll say.
Okay. He is a hero.
Let's hope I can make it without.
All right. Shall we?
Coughing fit ensues. All right.
Well, is your mouth dry? Is that what you're saying?
Uh-huh.
It's very
There you
Always.
dry in
go.
here.
Always. Yeah,
Exactly. Is
it's
it
dry
dry in
air in
there?
here,
Yeah,
so you know.
exactly.
All right. Hey, hello. It is the Go Birds podcast presented by the Bet Parks Casino and Sportsbook app. Eliot Shorr-Parks, James Seltzer with you. Eliot, today is a special day
Always.
because it is day 31,
Mm.
which means that officially today, it doesn't matter what month it is, any of the months, we would have done it all. Like we have officially reached, give us any month, and we recorded every day of it.
That's a
today.
good point.
Thank you very
I didn't
much.
think about
Yes,
that. And
yeah.
then tomorrow we break
Tomorrow
the
we're
month.
past a month. Any month anyone wants to say, like, sorry, we're past.
Yeah.
It. So
I mean, months
yeah.
are just kind of a mental construct anyway.
So are days, so are hours, so are
Exactly.
all of it.
I mean, kinda
let's be
everything
honest,
is.
time is a construct, you know?
There we go. That's the name of the
Relative,
pod right there.
all
As
these things.
everybody as
You,
everybody
you haven't
waits
watched
like
Arrival yet, have you?
Arrival? No, I
Yeah,
don't know what that
it was
is.
one of the movies on my list because we could get into a deep discussion about time if you had watched Arrival, but not yet.
I'm sure, but I do feel like I'm getting more and more texts from people, and I'm sure you're feeling it too. Like the week is starting to crawl by in a way
Oh my
in terms
God, I
of
know,
waiting
dude.
for Sunday. I feel like the first few days were exciting. There was media night. I think I'm loving it all, but it definitely feels like from everyone in Philly I'm talking to that it's time for the game. Like it's time to for it to speed up just a little. Like I'm
So
ready for
yeah,
tomorrow
here's
to
where
be
I'm
Go
at.
Birds Radio.
Yeah, here's where I'm at. I'm ready for the weekend. Like
Yeah.
I still am good to enjoy the game, like the fact that it is ahead of me. And look, I think I agree with the sentiment of like I'm ready for this game. It could be played right now, and I'd be like, let's freaking go and all that. But I do enjoy. It's like we've talked about the whole time. I enjoy the anticipation of it. I enjoy the excitement of thinking like we're in the Super Bowl. It's so cool. But I'm like done with the week. Like I need it to be the
Mhm.
weekend and know that like we're there, but we're not there. I'm okay not being there yet, but I need to be there, as in Friday.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I like things are starting to become a little it's weird. Like around the team, things are starting to become more normal, but then in the city of New Orleans, it's
More people
becoming
showing up and all that.
incredibly more hectic.
Yeah,
Like it
yeah, I can
look,
imagine.
everyone that's coming down, it's going to be an unbelievable time, but it is like prepare yourself for it to be utter chaos. Like it is like just being out here, the Bourbon Street's going to be wild. They've basically every road shut down within like 3 blocks of Bourbon Street. Like it's going to be a time. It's going to
Love
be
it.
bachelor party
Love
James
it.
New
Get it.
Orleans.
Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do day 31, then we'll get to inner excellence. I am racking my brain I got both you and Tucker have already told me you have a 31 for us. So good.
Yeah, I think there's
Nothing-
a very obvious one.
I'm sure there is. As we've said, about as good as I am with names, it's as bad as I am with jersey numbers.
Yeah, I'm surprised by this because you are elite with names.
Elite with names, and the funny thing is, I'm great with like phone numbers. I was always great. Like I still remember phone numbers from the past. Like I can do phone numbers, but for some reason, jersey numbers. I could do like I could tell you how many home runs people hit and like baseball stats and stuff. But when it comes to jersey numbers, I'm just done.
All right. Well, day 31 for me. I think he's one of the best draft picks Howie Roseman's ever made.
Ooh,
he's a Super
Tucker's
Bowl
nodding.
champion.
Tucker's nodding. He agrees with you.
He's got a nickname based off a Marvel character. It's the Green Goblin. It's Jalen Mills.
Okay.
I think
like
that's
that
the
answer.
best 31 that I can think of.
I would have gone without the nickname part. I think your
I like the Green Goblin.
Your argument was real. No, it's a fine nickname, but you know, your argument
Well,
was
I was trying to give you clues.
And then, you didn't let me guess. You just gave clues.
Well, you weren't jumping in,
like,
so
here
I
are the
just
clues.
said it.
Blah, 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 Jalen Mills.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, you didn't jump in. Like, and you weren't
guessing.
making any notes.
I thought you were going to give me a
faces.
chance. Be like, hey, do you want to guess who it is? And I was like, oh, let me think for a second. Oh, Jalen Mills. Got it.
So I actually thought it was so obvious that you would just go, oh, like
Here
that.
we go.
Yeah,
there we go.
The finger wag.
This is
exactly.
There you go. One, baby.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I think he is one of the best draft picks Howie's ever made when you consider where
the 7th round. I think you're going a little too far because you love Jalen Mills. I think Jalen Mills in the 7th round is a very good draft pick. But
yes,
you can't say it's better than. Obviously, it's not better than Mailata in the 7th round.
Yeah,
if we're just
obviously
Mailata
or Jalen in the 2nd round.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. Like, and honestly, I would argue that Quinyon in the 1st is a bet. I get the value of it, but Quinyon's just such a better player. You know what I mean? It's all dependent. But I get your point in terms of value. Jalen Mills one of the better ones. All right,
like
let's
5 years of starting out of him. Yeah.
No, it was a good pick. I'm not fighting with you. I'm just saying, like, I think you oversold it a bit.
Yeah, maybe. I've always been a Mills
There's
guy.
another one.
Yeah. Ooh, there's another 31. Another 31, you mean?
Yeah. Wilbur Montgomery probably.
Yeah,
Oh!
I was thinking of that one too.
All right, Jalen Mills. Sorry, buddy. I love you. This is the Wilbur Montgomery pod now. I'm sorry, Elliot. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
I
mean, he's obviously a better player.
The other
but in my
options
heart,
are
Mills
Kevin
is-
Byard.
Kevin Byard. We will not go with the Kevin Byard pod.
Well, Kevin Byard picked off Mahomes.
Remember Nickel Roby Coleman?
That's a good.
Showing
I like
up to
that.
save the slot.
Oh, Nickel Roby Coleman. I forgot about that.
Byron Maxwell.
Not
If
as
we
good.
need an important pass interference at the end that doesn't get called, we can bring Nick Allen.
In New Orleans?
Yeah, in New Orleans. I didn't even think about
Good
that when I
point.
said that.
Good point.
Good work. All right. I'm happy we got to the bottom of that. All right. Speaking of the bottom of it, Elliot, you've really carried the load this week with the reading, and I'm very impressed with you. So can you continue?
Well, I've always been the bigger reader of the two. You know that.
That is-
So actually, I have a fun little note today.
Honestly,
so,
I
You're
can't
so
even,
mad.
no, I won't even let that joke slide. Don't even joke about it.
we
Read
just
more.
both read all the time.
Yeah,
So
that's what it is. I'm
this is
gonna
a
open
fun-
my Kindle app and read while you read Jim Miller.
I'm gonna open my phone and read as well, but it'll be Twitter and social media.
Exactly.
So anyway, little twist today for the Inner Excellence. We have
Ooh.
a reader, or not a reader, a listener, I guess a reader potentially, a listener that has been sending a passage of Inner Excellence to his workers, or his like coworkers, I guess, every day. I think based off the pod, honestly.
Really?
And which I think is pretty cool. His name's Nick. And he sent me the one that he did yesterday, so I figured I would do
Okay,
it.
so hold on. I don't know how I feel about this. So I appreciate it, Nick. Great job. We have been picking at random though. Like,
Okay, that's fair. I thought you would
You know
like
what I
this.
mean?
I'll pick random.
Do you want to do 2 passages today? Do the random passage and give Nick.
Well, here's
the
the funny thing. I think we actually did the one he sent. That's what I was
Did
going
you?
to ask you.
That's
So,
hilarious.
It's if you want to be great, you must pay the price. We're all created for glory, but the path to glory is blocked by obstacles of ego,
Yeah.
comfort, and pleasure.
We
I think we
definitely
did that
yeah.
one, right?
Oh, wow,
That's what I
random.
thought. Okay,
Yes.
yeah. All right, then I'll open up. All right. I went deeper into the book this time.
Good job. I
Thank you.
was going to suggest that.
Yeah. All right. Loving my opponent is the best way to beat him. I guess this
What?
could be Super Bowl related.
I'm intrigued.
Sometimes when we really want to win, we also want our opponent to lose. In other words, my ego wants both a win for me and a loss for you if you're my opponent. This creates comparison separation where we compare ourselves and I have the upper hand. There's their last sentence. Now we're separate. There's a winner, me. I have to turn the page. And a loser, you. So I can feel better about myself. First of all, let me say, I want to give it to both of us. We have read out of this book for 30 straight days, and I don't think either of us has tripped up on a word a single
We did
time.
great. Yeah.
It's
I'm
pretty
proud
wild,
of us.
right?
I'm proud of us.
Anyway, I think that's
So
very... That's
By
a
the
very
way,
Jalen Hurts thing for me, by the way.
shout
Oh,
out
there
to
we
Rhea.
go.
Shout out to Rhea for bringing it to the studio. My girl,
Wow,
thank
what a
you.
hero.
And
What
for
a hero.
Tucker running the 10 feet to get it. It was a
Getting the
hardship for
door
him, but he
open.
did it.
Very nice.
It's a heavy door.
Yeah, it is.
I think there's a lot of like Jalen Hurts kind of in that
I
one.
think so too. So here's my one flaw with this is, and it's, I think if I had to pick my issue with Jim throughout, is it's a lot of like, no doubt, man. Like a lot of like, and then on top of that, like, yeah, like if I win, that means they lose. Like,
Well, but I
yep,
think the difference
I know
here
he's
is
asking like focus on the win and don't focus on them losing. Focus on you winning and not them losing. But like it's part and parcel, you know.
so I actually took the opposite from that, and I already
Hmm.
closed the book, so I can't reread it. But I think what
Probably
he's
a good thing.
saying, yeah, I think what he's saying is like there's people like you're like not like you, but like you just said, where you just want to win for you, and then there's people that both want to win for you and also get pleasure out of seeing their opponent lose. You know what I mean? Like I get what you're saying; they both happen at the same time. But let's say the Eagles win the Super Bowl this Sunday. They could get great pleasure in the fact that they won, but also that the Chiefs lost. Whereas if they were playing the Jaguars, maybe they only get pleasure out of winning as opposed to seeing the
Sure.
Jaguars
No,
lose.
I get that. I will.
Yeah.
I will take pleasure in Mahomes losing, but doesn't it feel like
Yeah,
Jim's
yeah.
saying you shouldn't do that? That you should just worry about
I
yourself.
think you probably have to read further and to see what the lesson is, you know?
Well,
But
we're
I
not going
think-
to do that, Jim.
No, I know,
Come on.
right,
Come on,
right.
Jim.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it today. A little interactive. We asked Tucker to come up with 10 questions about the Super Bowl. He didn't do that. He came up
Okay,
with
all
6.
right.
I have 6.
He came up with 6. He lays
That's
out.
fine.
All of them are
But
two-parters, though.
luckily, we're gonna have the chat get involved, and the last few will be come up from with the chat. So it's a combo of Tucker and the
Well,
chat.
I was gonna say coming up with 10 in like a half hour was pretty.
Yeah,
would have
honestly, we
been
might
tough,
not be able to
so.
get through 10 in the
Yeah,
time that we
yeah.
have before Elliot has to go like do his
To
job.
Eagles practice,
But
yeah.
yeah. But let's dive in. Let's get to as many as we can. Tucker, question number 1.
So a lot of these are like hypotheticals. Just curious where
Love
your
it,
thoughts
love it.
are.
Unlike Chip Kelly, we love hypotheticals.
We do
Exactly.
Yes,
hypotheticals.
yes.
So my first question: a backup offensive player makes a huge play. Who do you think it is?
Great question.
Ooh.
So, I mean,
I think
the
there's an obvious one for
yeah,
me.
is Kenny Gainwell a
Yeah,
backup?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
I think that's so clearly the obvious answer here. I actually would bet on Kenny making a play in this game that matters in some way or another because it feels like the vast majority of the times he's gotten the opportunity this season, he's made a play that matters.
Well, and also, I don't know if we want to take this into consideration, but if God forbid there's an injury, like, you know, and we saw
Nope.
in the Super,
Don't. Nope.
yeah.
Nope. Nope.
So
don't wanna
here
take
would
that.
be my other one.
Don't be saying Kenny Pickett or some trash here. You know.
No. All right. So here would be my other one. And I don't know if I'd consider him a backup, but what about Jahan Dotson?
Yeah,
Because
I was thinking about that too.
Chiefs,
I don't. He's kind. I think he counts as a backup in the
Yeah.
part of the question.
The Chiefs nickel is bad. Right now, Devontae goes inside to the slot a lot, which is why I think he's had good games against the Chiefs. But I mean, Jahan Dotson, I don't know, you know, throw it out
Well,
there. You
here's
could
what
also
I'll
go
say.
with a Tyler Steen if Landon goes down.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of someone going down. So let's stick with what
That's
we've been
fair.
doing.
Okay. All right.
The other thing with Dotson, I mean, I just think about it in these terms, and you're the one who just watched that last Super Bowl, but if he just makes the one play Quez didn't make, they win that game.
It's a good point.
Like,
That's a really good point.
So I'm with you. And look, I love those type of things where it's like, all right, like we trade a 3rd round pick for this guy. He has unequivocally been a disappointment for what they traded for him. But if that guy has a play or two in the Super Bowl that matters and helps him win, it's like, I would have traded multiple thirds. I would have traded whatever. Like,
for
I
sure.
like the
It's well
idea.
worth it.
I
Yeah.
like the redemption idea of that. That's on the
Yeah.
table for guys like that.
I agree.
All right, Tucker, what's next?
Question number 2: will Nick Sirianni call a trick play?
So this is a fun question because I just got into an argument to camera on the air about this, and I think he's so vehemently wrong about this. I said, other than that one flea flicker, the Eagles have not run trick plays this year. And he's like, well, they ran the pitch on the tush push. I'm like, that's not a trick play. That's a variation off the tush push. Like the Eagles have, when I think of trick play, I think of obviously like the Philly special or a running back throwing the ball or whatever. Like, I don't think a variation on the tush push. Maybe if they like went deep on it that one time, it's close, but it's not a trick play. Like,
So here would be.
I think a trick play has to be a trick.
I think I have a great point for you, but it might be a great point for DeCamera. But I think this is a similar. Would you consider a fake punt a trick play?
Yes.
Then I think that's a little similar to the tush push.
No.
Just in the way
because
that just in the
you
way that
expect
like
it the same way every
yeah,
time and all that, but
exactly,
still,
right.
but you know
But
that
I
they
think the heart of your question, I wouldn't consider what the variation of a tush push a trick play though. Like
thank you. That's the
I
point.
don't, but I do see the point a little
Right.
bit
I
where
just
it's like a
regardless, when Tucker says,
yeah.
"Will he do a trick play?" I'm thinking, "Well, Saquon throw a pass or something
So
like
you know
that."
what feels like another lifetime ago? Didn't Nick run a variation of the Philly special? Like, is this something I've had in my dreams that is never happened? I
I
swear on my
don't
life
think
he
He
ran
so.
threw
the
a pass
Philly.
to Lane
He
Johnson his
did.
first year
Yeah, he
here.
did. Now, obviously, Doug
Remember they lined
ran
up
the play
Slay
right
on
after
offense?
the Phillies, the Aguilar special,
Right.
against the
Maybe
Falcons.
that's what I'm thinking of. So
Yeah.
anyway, I would say the chances are very, very slim.
I'm
I
gonna say
don't think
no.
they're gonna.
I'm gonna
I
say
don't think
no.
they're gonna fool around in this game.
They're just
Like,
they're gonna line up and punch you in the mouth.
yeah, I would be. I think they're only running a trick play if it's like a FU fourth quarter, and I don't think
Elliot,
it
I
gets
agree with
there.
you. I
Yeah.
agree with you. I think great call. What's next, Tuck?
Saquon Barkley, 240 yards away from becoming the first NFL player with 3,000 yards in a season.
Can you
Ooh.
imagine?
Are
I
you
think
including
it's
rush?
wild. No one's
Are you
discussing
including
it.
pass
It's obviously a pipe
receiving
dream, but
yards
how
here?
close do you think he gets?
No, that's just rushing. Or no, you're
Okay,
talking
that's
pass.
good.
Total. That's total yards
It's
for
total
him.
That's what
yards.
I was thinking. Okay.
So Tucker asked, how close does he get?
So how close to 240 does he get on Sunday?
Yeah,
I mean, it depends what you consider
I think he's
close,
gonna
but
be pretty
like
close. Yeah.
I think like I would bet over 150.
Okay, so if you had asked me, just guess, and there's whatever, how many total yards will Saquon have on Sunday? I would guess like 170.
So what do you think
I
the
think like
chances are?
140 rushing and 30 receiving, or something in that. Like I think there's going to be like a 25-yard reception at some point. Like I think there'll be a play where he slips into the slot, or it's one of those screens they've actually run a couple times now, and they get Saquon in space, and he gets a nice long run. So like I'm expecting one big pass play from Saquon, and then a lot of runs.
Well, because the other part that I think makes that possible is we know they're going to blitz a lot, so you know that they're going to have a lot of like
Totally.
plans for the blitz.
And Jalen's done a good job of getting the ball out. It's short, quick,
For sure.
And,
So let me ask, I guess both you guys this, but like, are we underestimating the possibility that like they might have trouble running the ball? Because I am a big believer they can run against everybody. Like I do believe that. But there are a lot of like the Chiefs don't allow 100-yard rushers. Spagnuolo's awesome. Like are we just assuming, or do you think we need to at
I
least
think we
address?
are, but I also think that we're right to a large degree. Like
I think so.
Of course, is it possible? Yes. But I also think you can look at these like Chiefs stats different ways. Like last week, I mean, James Cook was tearing them up on the ground. They just stopped running the football. Like I think James Cook could have easily had 100 yards if they had committed to it last week.
Yeah.
So, and again, like you look at the teams they played. I mean, none of them are close to what the Eagles are as a rushing offense.
Well, because no team is really.
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
And so
I guess the Ravens a little.
So,
but.
like, let's put it this way. I think that we are potentially underselling it, but I think it means that if they do that, it is like because they chose to give their whole defense to stopping the running game, and we're gonna pass all over them. Like I don't think that they can just go out, line up, and stop both.
I'm starting to really like betting like all the Jalen overs for Sunday. I kind of think Jalen's gonna.
I was
cook.
gonna save it for Friday, and I'm sure we'll go through a lot of the, some fun stuff on the Bet Park spot. I'm all in on Jalen having a big game. I'm betting him MVP. I'm betting Jalen. Like I think Jalen. I know the narrative is Saquon winning MVP. Like I think Jalen's gonna ball out on Sunday.
So here's like a fun hypothetical to add to it. Do you think Saquon's getting the MVP almost no matter what? Like if they win,
no.
Okay,
I just said I'm betting. I'm gonna bet. I'll probably throw up a few shekels on both just because it'd be fun to have either. And in all honesty, good betting advice. Like if you think the Eagles are gonna win, you're getting like plus 106, plus 110, plus whatever. It's jumping back and forth. Like I think Saquon's plus 280 and Jalen's like plus 370 to win MVP. Like one of those two guys is winning the MVP.
Yeah, for
Rank
sure.
it. Put like whatever.
Yeah.
So if you think the Eagles are gonna win, you get more value with those guys.
It's a good point. It's a good betting point.
I'm gonna bet on both for fun, but the majority of my money will be on Jalen to win. I'm predicting Jalen to win MVP.
Yeah, so I think if he has a great game, he's the quarterback, they win. Obviously, is a good shot. I do think sometimes, well, maybe do you agree with this? That sometimes the Super Bowl MVP they consider like the season. I think a lot of the voters go into the game.
I think that if it's close, if Jalen and Saquon have the similar stats, they will give it to Saquon for the season thing. But
That's what
I
I'm
think-
saying. Yeah.
But I think it's got to be like razor thin. I think if one of them is better than the other, they'll get it. You know?
Okay. Yeah. All right. Fair enough. I mean,
All right,
Jalen does have longer odds, but he's probably less likely to have a huge game than
Right.
Saquon in the
Right.
eyes of the public.
What's next, Tuck?
Patrick Mahomes has been sacked at least 3 times in every Super Bowl, except for the Super
Ooh.
Bowl against the Eagles.
Wonder why?
Eagles have
No big
10
deal.
sacks this postseason. How many times did they sack Patrick
What a
Mahomes?
great question.
That's a
Tuck
great
here.
one.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just go over under 3 as a good way
Yeah.
to view this.
Now,
I mean,
real
I'm gonna
quick,
go
that
under.
we're not
but-
counting like the. I guess it doesn't count as a sack. It's just a negative yard if like that, like he's kneeling at the end of the first half. or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like that.
obviously,
Okay.
Right.
yeah. I mean, I would go under. Like, I know the field was part of it and whatever, but like, I just really think Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, like, I don't know, maybe they know how to. They're good at protecting Mahomes, and I know the stats in their Super Bowls don't back that up, but like, I will believe the Eagles will get all over Mahomes when I see it, so I would go under.
Over, double,
All right,
6
there we go.
sacks. No, I do. I think they're gonna. I think 3 was the number I had in my head. Like, if I have to pick between the two, I'll pick over because I think the Eagles are up late and Mahomes has to throw, and they get a few extra late. But I wouldn't be shocked if it went either way.
I'll be curious to see how much they respect the Eagles pass rush, because obviously in 2022 they tried to get rid of the ball quickly and all that because of the pass rush, and then there was the field thing. I wonder if in this game, now they don't really do long developing plays anyway. I'd be curious to know how many times he got sacked this year in
Yeah, they do
general.
like none this year.
Yeah,
which
he
is
gets
crazy.
rid of the ball super
Well,
quickly. They throw it
I mean,
short. So
interesting stat that I saw. I think it was Kay Adams who put it out there, but that the Eagles were the only team in the NFL this year who created a negative EPA per dropback when they didn't pressure, when they didn't get
wow,
pressure. That
that's
is
pretty
a
crazy.
unbelievable stat.
Yeah, yeah, that
Oh.
is. I hadn't heard that. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that's
All
a
right.
bonus question. I haven't thought of that, but here's a question. Do you
Mhm.
think the Eagles now are better equipped to stop Patrick Mahomes with a strong secondary as opposed to 2 years ago where they had a strong pass rush?
I do. And now
So we were moving the field part of
Well,
this.
yeah,
that
that's the
we're-
point. As I
okay.
was about
Yeah,
to say,
yeah. All right.
you can judge the game itself. Like if there had been a field where they could pass rush on, I think it would have been interesting. But yeah, I get it because the way Mahomes has been beaten in the past, and most of these greats has been with the rush and all that.
What's crazy,
but
he was only sacked 3 times in that
I
Super
think
Bowl he
that
lost.
this team's ability to create pressure with their front four and, like we just talked about, still play great defense even when they don't get pressure rises above the ability to get to him more often.
So one way to look at this is if you could pick a unit, would you rather have the Eagles back four this year or the Eagles front four in
That's a good
2022?
one.
Is
I'd take
essentially
the
the
back
question.
four.
So I think I would take the back
And
four
I
too.
think you have to include Bond in that too.
Fine. Yeah. Okay. We can include.
Bond
But,
versus,
but
TJ
yeah,
and Kaiser, whatever
but-
you want to say.
what's crazy is to the point we've gotten to this pass rush where that 2022 pass rush nearly broke the NFL record for sacks. This pass rush has definitely not, and has only really gotten better as season's
Has
gone
not.
on. But when you look at it player for player, like I think Jalen Carter is better than Fletcher Cox was that year.
100% agree.
Nolan Smith has more sacks in the postseason than Hassan Reddick did ever
Mhm.
because he set the franchise record.
Yep.
And I think the second spot, like next to Fletcher Cox, is better this year.
I
Milton
agree.
Williams, Moro Jama, like,
Jordan Davis,
So-
the combo of those guys.
and Josh Sweat, is
That's
kind of the
what's been
same
good.
guy.
I mean,
He's
look,
the same
that's
guy.
the
So-
funniest thing is Josh Sweat of all these guys. I mean, Becton, maybe, I don't know, but we're talking about all these free agents, the Becton, the Bond, all these stuff. And like we never mentioned Josh Sweat, and he will probably get the most money of the group,
Well, and he just switched his agent too.
to
I don't
Drew
know if you saw
Rosenhaus.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you comment? Maybe don't say it was the most important thing in your life to switch agents. I get it, Josh, but you are about to play the Super Bowl. But I
Well,
get
what's
it. I
also
get it.
crazy too is he's had the same agent since college. It's got to
Wow.
suck for that guy. Like,
Of course it does. What a
yeah,
tough
it's pretty
beat.
messed up. Like Josh has to do what he has to do, but that is that.
No,
that's
yeah. I
messed
won't
up.
blame him for that, but that is tough.
But I think I would take the back four of this year over the front four of 2022.
Yeah, I definitely would. All right, what's next,
Yeah.
Tuck?
So this is a question from British Eagles on YouTube.
By
I'm
the
going to
way,
narrow it
this
down.
is great. Great stuff. Good
Yeah, this
job
has
with the
been really
questions.
fun.
I'm really happy. We should have done this multiple times.
Yeah, seriously.
Keep it in mind for next year.
Yeah, next
good
year
point.
when we do our
Tuck-
35 straight days next
I think
year.
Wednesdays are now Tucker days
Yeah,
for the
that's fine.
Daily Pods.
Uh,
Yeah.
I'm going to narrow it down. He wants to know, going into the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, Reg would be up by 3
ah,
on defense or behind by
So-
3 on offense. I'm going to narrow it down, though.
yeah.
5 seconds to go, lining up for a 50-yard field goal. Would you rather be the team kicking down by 2
Oh,
or
this
the
is so
team on
easy.
defense up by 2?
So wait, what? Okay, so
Sorry for talking during it. My bad.
no. So you're saying either team's kicking a field goal? We're just doing the field goal thing, or is it about the defense stopping Mahomes?
It's about the field goal.
It's about the field goal.
Well, I like I.
Do you
I'd
trust
much
Jake
rather-
Elliott to make a
I
52-yard
don't,
field
I
goal?
don't, but I also don't trust Bucker to miss one. So like, I
Oh,
think I
can I just say this, and this isn't
Yeah.
surprising? If Jake Elliott's kicking a 50-yard field goal with 2 seconds to go, down 2, I would bet a large amount of money he makes it. That dude is clutch. Like if it's an extra point in the first,
person who's been
if
defending Jake
if it's
so
an
well.
extra point in the first quarter, like
That's a
yeah,
good
there
point.
I'll acknowledge it. But so for me, and also if the Chiefs are kicking a field goal to win, let's be honest here. What are the chances that thing is going to miss? Like so.
Well, that's my
I
point. It's
would-
like it's not as much my trust in Jake. It's that I just can't have the Chiefs kicking a game-winning field goal. Like
yeah,
I
and
can't-
I'd rather
I'd rather
be-
miss than have them kick a winner.
Wow. Well, the only thing I'll say about him missing is it would be like
It'd be
all
like, well, I
season
guess we
told you.
should have done
Yeah,
something
exactly.
about this.
Yeah. So I think
you, it would be a tough beat for you.
hey, I'll always
because
go down
people would
supporting Elliott.
come at you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that'd be different. But I would absolutely rather have Jake Elliott kick it.
Yeah. As to the initial question, more than ever would I consider having my defense on the field, but I think any answer that doesn't have Mahomes on the field is probably the
And also, I think baked into that, like I do have trust in
Jalen.
Jalen in a
I do
big
too.
moment. So
I do too.
while I get your point, just get Mahomes off the field. There's also
it's both sides.
yes, exactly.
I agree with
yeah.
you. I totally agree with you. All right, what's next, Tuck? What is that? 7 we've done?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
This is an interesting question from the Dark Horse 55-55.
The dark horse.
Mm,
Not
the only
not
one.
not the other one. Okay.
Although he needed a
Now I'm gonna
55-55,
take
so I
it.
You
guess there
did?
are other
Yes,
dark
there's not
horses.
the dark
Yeah,
horse. Yeah. I
Yeah.
wonder what the dark horse is up to.
yeah, good point.
Do you think Nick and Jalen will ever divulge what happened between them? Do you think if they win the Super Bowl,
So
we get the Nick and Jalen
This is a
book
great
tour
question. No.
the way Doug
never.
and Nick
Never.
Foles did?
Never. We will never find out what happened. I think
So
the only chance we find out is in like 40 years if someone writes a memoir or something.
yeah. So that's what I was gonna say. I think when Jalen writes his book, and I think Jalen will write a book.
Yeah. Then we can find
like
out. I
in a
agree
few
with you.
years, not this offseason.
Yeah, when he's
but,
retired, when it's done, I could absolutely see it then. I think there is a less than 0% chance that it happens while they're both head coach and quarterback.
Well, because
together.
also like I don't know if there's a one thing. Like I think it's just like
I agree with you, Elliot.
a lot of little things that where it's like personality and extenuating circumstances with losing the Super Bowl. So I don't think there's a smoking gun there.
Here's
that-
my question. Forget that. I don't think we'll get that. Do you think, because we got a little bit of it, like we got
Yeah, I
some
think we've already
reporting.
got it, honestly.
Yeah,
with the
you don't
McManus
think
story
we'll
last
get
year.
like a real, like in-depth, the bye week, the conversations of this, the thing that changed this? Because I do think
I
that-
could see that happening.
that's what I mean. Like a
Yeah.
thing on that, because it does feel like we got part of it. I think Tim McManus had the piece where he got like pieces of it, but like, I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say that bye week, the most important bye week
it's the most
in Eagles history.
Dude,
like,
honestly, you could name
so-
like the Super Bowl book, like the
that's what I
bye
mean.
week.
Like the
yeah,
bye.
yeah,
So I could see something like that, but I don't think we'll get down to the bottom of it.
yeah, agreed.
2 more.
Okay. Do you want the negative question first or the positive
Let's
question?
end on the positive. You agree with that,
Agreed.
Elliot?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, negative.
If they lose,
Oh God, I don't even want to contemplate.
who's the weak link? Who's the James Bradbury that everyone crushes on?
Can I just say something real quick, just to show you where my head's at with that? When he just said, "Who's the James?" I'm like, me? Me, the James? What? What did
Well,
I
let
do?
me- Well,
That's where
welcome to
I'm
my
at.
life when people discuss Jake
I know,
Elliott,
right?
by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You first, because I need to really think about this.
If there's
Because
a
Jake
weak
Elliott,
link-
and we'll just take Jake Elliott off.
Jake's a good
because
one.
that's such an
Yeah.
obvious answer. Yes.
All right. So I think we also acknowledge like it's probably Jalen just because he's the quarterback and he just like if they win, he'll be a large part. But I will go with like the Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson, where like they're
that's a
hurt
really
in the
good
back.
answer.
It might be a cop-out answer, but I'm not trying to be overly positive, but I just would be very surprised. I mean, maybe AJ drops a pass because he's dropped a few, but I think the guys are going to show up and play well. Maybe the one thing as I think through this that we're underselling a little is Quinion has never played in a Super Bowl. Maybe there's that. There's Darius Slay. Maybe we could talk ourselves into.
So
I'm
if
kind
you
of
wanna-
bouncing around there,
if you
but
want the real cop-out answer, it's Patrick Mahomes. All right, it is what it is. I don't think the Eagles lose because unless it's a Jake Elliott kick, which is sadly possible, but that's possible in any game and whatever. Like, I don't think the Eagles lose because, wow, the defense really played horrible. Like, I don't think it'll be last time where Jonathan Gannon, has.
I think there's a
moments
better shot at
can't-
that than you do.
I think Mahomes, if they lose, it's because Mahomes is Superman.
Yeah, well, I mean that's kind of what happened. We don't have to do the 2022 thing again. But yeah, I think there's a better shot.
He has to defend Gannon. Like, he can't
Well,
let it
'cause
slide by without. Like, he just has to. Like, it's like an imperative.
It's a core belief. Like,
I
for
know
those
it
that-
is.
Yeah.
You're like inside out. It's one of your core,
But-
the things that make you.
Yes. I just think we're underestimating a little bit the chances that this defense like gives up 30 plus points. Like, it's the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Like,
look, it's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Okay.
I agree.
All right.
All right. What's next? Last one.
Oh, by the way, the dark horse 55-55 is Chris from Ocean City.
No way.
Really? Wow,
Christopher. I would not have
I
guessed
actually
that.
kind of like that it was someone we know because it's like,
it's great.
It adds to the,
so now we can get the real story on the dark horse 55. What happened to the other
Well, at
55,
Brandon
54 dark horses? Are there 5,554 dark horses we need to know about?
Unless he went 55-55 for Brandon Graham.
Well, why not just 55? You think there was already the dark
Or the
horse
campaign
55? Yeah.
Also, why are we
It
saying
can be.
55? So it's just 4 straight fives.
Yes.
5-5-5-5.
Yes.
55-55 sounded better in my head.
It does
Like a
sound
phone
better,
number?
you're
Well,
right.
it does sound better. I
Like
would
94,
never. I
94?
would never have said
I
the
agree.
dark
I
horse
just
5555. Yeah.
I might have
5,500.
honestly.
Yes, that would have been good. Yeah. All right. So, love you, Chris. What's next? Or last?
Final question.
We did good, by the way. I know Elliot's timing. We
No,
make
this
sure he
worked out
gets-
great.
We're doing
Yeah.
great. I'm really proud of us. All right, great. Thank you to everyone who put in questions, and we
Yeah.
love you. Go ahead.
Who makes the Brandon Graham play?
Oh,
I think
who has it?
I
Was
think
that
I know
you
who
or
it
someone
is.
else?
No, I wrote that down.
Tucker. What a question. What a
Yeah,
question.
I have such a clear number one play. I think it's that
Brandon Graham.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, good point. I think it's Zach Bond. Like, he's made big plays this year. He's all over the field. He forces turnovers. He gets his hand on the ball. Like, it's an advantage they don't have that they have this time they didn't have last time. Like, I think it's Zach Bond.
So I think it's Jalen Carter, and we picked the two most obvious answers, but there's a reason for that. I mean,
Yeah.
Jalen Carter's been the guy who's made the big plays all year. Obviously, the Rams game, we remember, won it at the end for them. Like, I just think when the game's on the line that matters most, Jalen Carter's going to find his way in the backfield.
Yeah, that's a fair one.
Love it. All
Interesting.
right.
We both picked defensive guys. I get why,
Yeah.
but like,
Well,
there
because
could
the
be an
Brandon Graham
offensive
play.
Yeah,
but I think
no, I know.
that's why. But yeah. By the way, real quick. I'm not a big simulation guy. I'm not like, I get it. It's certainly possible. If Brandon Graham strip sacks Patrick Mahomes to essentially ice the game at the end,
Yeah.
we're living in a simulation. I just want
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
Brandon is like, I mean, he already is, but like, just talk about a movie life.
Can
you know,
you
like,
imagine?
yeah.
Can you imagine? All right, let's get to final thoughts. I'm very excited about my final thought today. Very.
All right, so I have a pretty good one too. All right. I think it should be a rule of the country. Like, write it into the freaking Constitution.
Ooh, we're getting political. I like this.
Yeah, exactly. So, no, I'm just kidding. but, yeah. But I think it's absurd that places of business are allowed to only give their bathroom to paying customers. Like, you're telling me I'm walking around, I have to go to the bathroom and I have to buy like a soda to use it? It's a health issue, number one. I have to go. What do we think? What does this business think is going to happen? Someone's going to be walking by and be like, "Oh, I don't really have to go, but let me just walk in and go." There's going to be a huge line out the door.
So I do think there are things you're not thinking about. There are people who come in and squat in bathrooms. There are people who come in and spend an hour there because they don't have anywhere else to go, or this, that. Like, there are like all kinds of reasons why they do that. Like, I don't necessarily agree with it. I'm just saying, I don't think the fear is, oh, we'd have a line out the block because everyone would use our bathroom. I think it's a other fears.
I get that, and I get there's extenuating circumstances to every situation in life, but like, as a general rule, I just think if someone has to use the bathroom, and this didn't even happen to me, honestly.
So I generally agree with you for what it's worth. Like, there is nothing more annoying, especially when you have a kid and like your kid has to go to the bathroom and it's
Yeah.
like you go out paying costs. It's like, really, you can't let my
Yeah.
kid pee here. Like, I generally agree with the heart of what you're saying, but I do think there's like,
You're right. There are circumstances.
there
for
are
sure. And
circumstances that
yes.
could go bad for places.
yes, I do get that. But like, so yesterday I'm getting breakfast with Jack, and I asked to use the bathroom, So I'm a paying customer, and I had to use like this huge key to, and I'm just thinking, how
Yes.
crazy is this? Like,
Yeah.
just
Well,
let
the
people
key's
use the
ridiculous.
bathroom.
Like the point,
Yeah,
like
and it's got
the
this
fact
huge
that we're
wood thing
handing the
attached
people
to
the
it.
same key to go into the
Yeah,
like, so like every person who goes to the bathroom and does whatever they do in there
I
holds
didn't think
this
about
thing.
that.
That
I didn't think about that.
you think about that? Isn't that
No,
that's
I
okay?
just
Wouldn't
thought
that
about
be your
how
first
unfair it
thought with the
was.
That's
key?
100% my first
100.
thought.
Like the very
My
first thing I
first
think I was like,
thought-
how many people have taken this into the bathroom with them? Is the first thing I think of.
The key
Like,
with
I'm
like
not
the
a
frisbee
big
on
right?
it.
germs
Yeah.
guy. I'm not a big germs guy.
I'm
Like,
not
and
either. I'm actually
yeah.
not either. Like, I'm fine with it, but like, I can't help but think about that. Like,
Yeah. Well, the first thing I thought of, and maybe this is just the caring person I am, is
yes.
imagine walking in and being like, "Hey, can I use a bathroom?" and then being like, "No." Like, are you
Yeah.
kidding me? Like, I gotta
What an
pee.
empathetic
Like,
human you are.
I know it's my curse in life, but
Yeah.
Would you
fair.
pay to use the bathroom?
honestly,
Great
if I had
question.
to go bad
Yeah, if
enough,
I had to go, I
Like
absolutely.
in
would.
London, like you have to
I
pay
would,
like
of
$1.
course, yeah.
Well, so listen to this
what do you
absurd
think about
situation, and
that?
then we'll. Okay, never mind. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You sure? You can go ahead. What do you got?
Yeah, I misread the clock. So, the Eagles practice yesterday. To get into it, you had to go through security, which is fine. I get that. So we go through security. To use the bathroom, you had to leave outside and then go back through security to go back in.
That's ridiculous.
How
That's
crazy
ridiculous.
is that?
Yeah.
Now,
that's
the
really
reason this is all, so I've been doing a lot of liquid IVs this week because of the dryness of the
ridiculous.
situation.
Ew.
So
I've never
I've been
done that.
peeing 8, 9 times a day. And so, like,
Welcome to
pee-
the life of a 43-year-old.
yeah, maybe that's just is what it is. But
Dude,
it's
it's
like,
once you hit, at least for me, once I hit 40, like the amount of pee I had to, the amount of times I had to pee like increased exponentially.
but I feel like it's like a strong pee. Like it's like I clearly have
Strong
to pee.
stream.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
then maybe it's an overshare. But
Probably.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, imagine opening the WIP stream right now on Twitter and like,
Stream. We did it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh,
No
yeah.
pun
I didn't think-
intended.
yeah, I didn't think about that. But anyway,
Uh,
so I mean, look,
all
I
right.
got the liquid IV in here right
There's
now.
good
so-
work there. Okay. So not a little. I thought you were talking liquid IV like in your arm. I was like,
No,
damn,
no,
Elliot.
no. It's like a powder you put in your.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, wow, dude. I mean, people do that. You know, like that.
Dude,
is a
I would
big,
love
like,
to
you're
try that
drinking,
once. It's a big hangover.
apparently
I'd
it's
love to
amazing.
try it.
Yeah, apparently
Yeah.
it really works. Okay. So my final thought is a clear of the am I weird variety. And I'm going in assuming that this is weird, but I don't know for sure. And I've thought about this a lot. I can't believe I've never done this as a final thought. I've thought about this
All
in
right.
my head so many times. I've never talked to anyone about it. So here we go. As a reader, like we always talk about, I read a lot of fiction, as we know, pretty much exclusively.
Yeah.
So, for example, when I'm reading a book, any book, like generally when you read books, like every once in a while when they introduce a character, they'll tell you exactly what they look like or whatever, and it'll just kind of stick right away. But a lot of times you jump into a conversation, and you're meeting characters, and over the first few pages, it'll start to tell you about who they are and what's going on and all that type of stuff. The moment I read a name, I have an image in my head of what that character looks like. Sometimes it's like someone from a movie. Sometimes like a book I was reading, a character's named Mira. For some reason, Mira Sorvino when she was younger. Bang.
Yeah.
She's Mira Sorvino. And it doesn't matter. So one example, I'm reading a book and in my head, the guy's bald. And like for the next 1,000 pages, they talk about this guy's flowing locks and all this stuff. But in my head,
You
this
picture him bald.
MFer is bald. And
Hmm.
it doesn't matter. I'm basically willingly fighting what the author is telling me based on what my initial thoughts of what the character would look like in my head. And I have this with multiple things. Like give you a room, whatever. Like I always choose my imagination over the description in the book, and I will fight the description in the book because my imagination has already made this person,
Wow.
this world, whatever. And sometimes it'll go to the point where like it's like hard to fight it at certain points, like where you're like, well, that's not at all what I was expecting in my head. So, am I?
So
weird?
here, all right, I have a bunch of thoughts. One, I think this is a great example of why you like fiction, right?
Yep.
Like you have an imagination, right? So let me ask you this. I do the same thing. I don't read a lot of fiction books, but the times I have, like, I definitely picture someone in my head.
Good.
To the fact where,
Okay.
like, I then don't like when you watch a movie and you see
Totally,
like,
it
you know,
ruins it. I'm
yeah.
like, no, you don't look
exactly.
like that. Yes,
and
I
like
agree.
the two I can think of with this is Harry Potter, obviously, and then the Chronicles of Narnia. Like those
Which
are
is
the
funny
two.
because Harry Potter was one where they just describe how he looks immediately, and you're kind of like,
right,
okay.
but to your point, like I just picture him how I
get it.
picture him. Like,
Yeah.
But let me ask you this: would you
Mhm.
prefer an author doesn't describe things and just more so
I know,
allows you?
so that's part of the reason. Like as I've read all over the years, like I've learned, like I am a big plotsman. Like I'm all about
Mm.
plot. Like I want to know what's going on, what's happening, tell me a story, whatever. Like, if you spend a page talking about what everything looks like where we are, like, don't freaking care. I don't care if there's grass. I don't care if there's like, I got it all right here. I know exactly what I'm dealing with in my mind. Like, I don't, so like, I understand that you need to include some descriptors and like things like that. Not everyone is like me, like, but like, if it's a book where like they're just describing stuff for pages, like, I could not be more out on that. Like, I don't care.
I think I agree with you on that.
Beautiful
Yeah.
prose you've ever read in your life, and it's like this gorgeous description of a room that you're in. Like, fast forward to the plot. Like, that's.
I agree. I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
If I
like
ever read a fiction book again, I will take that into consideration.
You're missing out, buddy. You're
I just
missing
don't.
out.
It's not my stuff. I like, but that's the other thing too. I like biographies. So like,
I know.
already
Well, you
know
like
what the
reality
person looks
TV.
like.
I mean,
Yeah,
you're just not as
exactly.
big a fiction man as I am.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
all right. Well, good. I'm happy. I might be weird, but at least we're weird together on this.
That's why the pod works, buddy.
Love it. All right. Go to practice. We'll be back tomorrow. Big show tomorrow. Elliot's keys.
5
Key
keys.
matchups. We're
There
doing
we
it,
go.
baby.
It
It'll be
feels like
awesome.
game week now.
Can't wait. And obviously Friday, Saturday, 1 to 3 Parks. Sunday, 10 to 12. Super Bowl Sunday on WIP. Stick with us.